Hello everyone and welcome to Andy's Shed Live. This is series 12, episode number 21 for Sunday the 11th of June 2023. Hello there everybody and welcome to the show. Just making sure that my microphone is working here tonight. Yeah, welcome aboard. We are here for what is the penultimate in this run of Andy's Shed Live. We will be taking a little break after next week, and then we will be back late July, early August time. It hasn't been absolutely decided yet, but we're basically off for at least 3 weeks. We're off for because we've got one or two special events that we're going to be going out and about and doing. Hello to everybody who is in the chat room. We've got Peter's there, Wesley's there, Christopher's there, Penfold is there, and guess what there, Gambo's there, Dominic's there. I'll just have a quick read of what everybody's writing. Everybody's basically saying hello there. Peter says, how do cannibals freshen their breath? Answer, they eat Mentos. Mentos. Get it? Mentos? Cannibals? Yeah? No? Alright. Suit yourselves. Alright. Gambo's with us. He says, hello everybody. Hope you're all burn free on your holes this week. And too warm to get the slabs down and the sheds built. He says, at least that's his excuse anyway. It can't be warm in Scotland, Gambo. Surely. It's never warm in Scotland. I've been watching some of your videos. We get very interesting collection you have there, says Wesley. Yes, I've been watching some of Miguet's videos as well. Yeah, and yeah, very, very good. Keep up the good work. Gambo says, you forgot to put your sunscreen on. Ouch. Dominic says he's got his weeks mixed up for his holidays. He's heading off tomorrow. Wesley says the sound is perfect, Andy. Slightly quieter, but no background noise. Yeah, that's because it's this microphone on my headset. But last time I did this, people said this wasn't as good. So I don't know. Hang on, if I'm slightly quieter, let me see if I can. Right, I've boosted it up just a little bit. So we'll see where we get to now. Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it tends to be just me you can hear when it's this though. Right, let's go back and have a little look what everybody was saying. Penfold says it looks like you're doing some telesales tonight with the headset. Yeah, well when we open the phone lines in a bit. For the CNET phone-in thing, I have to have this headset on to do that. It doesn't work otherwise, so that's why I've got this on. Dominic says he's bought some sunscreen and a Panama hat, ready for him going off on his travels. Gambo says it's Scorchio in Scotland this last few weeks. Can't believe it. Peter says Nicola Sturgeon got arrested today. Did she? The Ginger Wingers got locked up, has she? Excellent. Couldn't be happier. I really do not like that woman. Oh God. Nicola Sturgeon, the Ginger Whinger, as I call her. Dominic's off in his travels. Apparently he's going to Barrow on Thursday and then Ravenglass on Saturday. So yeah, should be a good trip for you there, Dominic. And as I say, we will be here. We will be sort of remaining here till next week. We're doing the show here next week, and then we're off for a few weeks because the following week we will be at Sheffield Steam Rally with Sheffield Collectors Club. If you are going to Sheffield Steam Rally in a couple of weeks' time, have a look for us. Just as you're going through the pay gate, we will be on a stall with the Sheffield Collectors Club just on your right hand side. The first thing that you see as you go through the pay gate. Come and say hello if you are attending Sheffield Steam. Then the following week after that, we will be on the Sunday. We will be at Arkwright's Mill at Cromford, just on the Sunday, and then the following weekend after that, we will be at the Sheffield Model and Experimental Engineers Miniature Railway Track, at Abbeydale in Sheffield, just opposite Door Station. So come and say hello to us at that if you're attending it as well. So that's why we're going to be off air for a few weeks, because we're going to be out and about doing stuff. But that is not the case tonight. We are here tonight, and and things are happening. Just fill it in from last week. I've done the phone. You remember the phone that we were doing last week? Well, it's here. This is the one that had got the case that was cracked in half down the middle here, and I'll put it under the other camera so you can see it a bit better. But I think you will agree with me that it's come out quite well. I've just got to move things on this desk. Maybe while we're off air for a few weeks, after next week, maybe I will actually get a chance to clear this bloody desk up. Do you think? Do you think I might actually clear this desk? Yeah. Alright, got to get it in focus now, because it's manual focus, that camera. Right, there you go. There it is, all in one piece. You can still just very slightly see here, because to be honest, I think it could do with a bit more rubbing down just there. And I think if it was sanded a little bit more on there, I think that would disappear. In fact, it may even disappear with a bit of acetone on it. So we give it a go. But it's certainly back together. It's certainly in one piece. As I say, we need to do something about the look of it there with the acetone. So let's see if we can clean it up some with a by dragging a bit of the surface around. This is basically chemical sanding. What I'm doing here is that mark that was on there gradually disappearing. It's actually interesting. You can see it more on the camera than I can see it here in reality. It looks way worse on the camera than it does look here. But the crack went right down here, remember, and down there somewhere. And all I did was built it up last week, as you saw on the show, and then I've just sanded it down. And it's looking way better. Right, we'll let that dry. and then we'll sand that down a little bit before we go off this evening. So yeah, we'll let it dry, and then we'll see what happens. Right, it is probably time for us to try opening the CNET lines if we can. So there is your phone number to call, and that 024687201 if you are on CNET. That is the number to call if you want to get on the show and have a chat with us on this, as I say, the penultimate one before we take a break for the summer. I'll just catch up with what everybody is up to in the chat. Penfold says Nicola is innocent, lock up Boris. No, Nicola's not innocent. Get rid of Nicola Sturgeon. If Nicola Sturgeon wants independence for Scotland so much, I'm fine with that, as long as they build a wall across and nobody from Scotland ever comes into England. Build a wall across. If they want independence, say, right, that's it, you're independent now. Oh, by the way, you can't just come to England anymore when you feel like it, and you're going to get nothing from us. That's what independence actually means, being independent. Not independent when you feel like it. So, yes, that was my rant for the day. Penfold says, new latest, please release Nicola Sturgeon without charge. That's obviously because whinging is not a criminal offence, apparently. Worsley says, why is Dominic stopping in Barrow from Thursday to Saturday? You can't be doing that. There's not much to do there. I can't comment. I don't think I've ever been to Barrow. I think it's one place. I've been a lot of places in the UK, but I think that's one place I've never been to. I can't remember going there anyway. Dominic says he's thinking of going up the Cumbrian coastline to Carlisle. Any particular sites to look out for while he's there? Penfold says goodbye everyone. I take it you're in Scotland then, Penfold. Oh, well, if they want independence, is independence, isn't it? If you want to be independent, you know, if I suddenly said I want to be independent, then if somebody says, right, we'll make you independent, we'll put you on an island on your own in the middle of nowhere, to me, that's what actually being independent is. Wesley says, Ravenglass is a lovely place, Dominic. There are the remains of the Roman baths there. Gambo says, that's so wrong, Andy. Independence is to be run by ourselves, not stay within our own boundaries. No, I don't agree. Don't agree at all. If you want to be independent, you're independent. You don't come crying to England when you want things like money for your NHS and money for transport and all this sort of stuff. If you're going to be independent, then have your own tax system, have your own currency. Well, you do in Scotland, don't you? You have different money. They still have different money in Scotland. You used to have different pound notes and things in Scotland. Is that still the case? Because I've not seen like a Scottish fiver or anything for years and years and years, and used to see them quite regularly. But yeah, I personally think everywhere should be run from one place. Absolutely one place. Because there are too many politicians in the world. Why do we need one load of idiots sat in Westminster, another load of idiots sat in Cardiff, another lot of idiots sat in Scotland somewhere, and another load of idiots sat in Northern Ireland? Why can't we just have one load of idiots and make them work harder? Why do we have to have four? That's my thinking on it. It's a lot cheaper to run one parliament than it is to run four parliaments. So let's get us money's worth out of one of them. Cambo says, yeah, I can take my pound back, I suppose. Yeah, you can have a euro if you want, if you're going to sort of go independent. Entirely up to you. But you won't be able to spend it in Britain. There'll be an exchange rate to pay when you cross. But yeah, I don't see. I don't see why people want independence. Really don't see the reason for it. I think you should have one bunch of idiots, not four bunches of idiots, and then you always know. Because the trouble is, it's a bit like local councils. I've been having trouble with the local council this week. Here, I'm in Bolsover in Derbyshire, and we've got Derbyshire County Council that are responsible for some things. We've got Bolsover District Council that are responsible for some things, and we've got Old Bolsover Town Council that are responsible for some things. And when you've got a problem, you never quite know which council is responsible for it, and they do pass the buck between each other. For instance, a local recreation ground needed the grass cutting the other day. So I ring up Bolsover District Council. Oh, it's not us that deal with that. That's the Bolsover Town Council you need. So I ring Bolsover Town Council. Oh, I don't know if that recreation ground's ours or not, or if that one is looked after by Derbyshire County Council. And so it goes on round the loop. Why do we need three councils in the same area? Let's have one and make them actually do some blooming work for a change. So, yeah. Politicians, you want as few as possible. That's what I say. And I say I have one person in charge, either a Prime Minister or a President, and buck stops there for everything. And that is the person who has to shoulder all the responsibility of everything. And if they say, oh, it's too much stress for one person to do, well, tough. You shouldn't have gone to be president, or you shouldn't have gone to be prime minister or whatever then, should you? Let somebody do it who can handle the stress. Yeah. What did he say? I think Ponfolder's taken offence. That's the permanent goodbye then. That's unfortunate. We all have similar interests here which unite us. Politics, unfortunately, can divide us. Yeah, well, I'm not scared to say what I think. I've never been scared to say what I think, ever. I will say exactly what I think at all times. I don't pussyfoot around just to what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't pussyfoot around here just to spare people's feelings. I tell it like it is to everybody, and you can like it or lump it. Because quite frankly, I could happily live on a desert island. I could. It wouldn't bother me at all. I always said I want them to put me in the Big Brother house for the sort of 40 weeks a year that they're not using it. I said, can I be caretaker? Can I just come in it when you're not using it, and that just be a caretaker? Lock me in for 40 weeks of the year. I'd be well happy with that. Well happy. Yeah. I'm not a person that's designed to live in society. I'm not. I envy the people that you sometimes see on TV with people like oh come on, what's the guy's name? The guy that does that New Lives in the Wild program. I envy those people who sort of live in the middle of nowhere, you know, and they say like, so-so's nearest neighbour is 200 miles away down a dirt track. And I think, wow, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to do that. It's a shame lighthouses are now automatic, because lighthouse keeper would have been my ideal job. I could happily have been a lighthouse keeper. I would quite like to move to Scotland, to one of the islands where people are moving away from. Ben Fogle, thanks, the unseen. Yeah, Ben Fogle is the guy that does those programs, isn't it? But I could quite happily move to one of these Scottish islands where they're always saying, all the people are leaving, this island's going to become uninhabited. Well, when it does, I'll move in. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Right. Okay. We are here. We've not got Christopher tonight. Oh, we have got Christopher. Yeah, he's here. He's here. He's keeping a low profile because of all the all the political nonsense. But yeah, it's all political nonsense. The one thing you can guarantee I will never do politically is vote Labour. I will never, ever vote Labour. And I'm not very keen on voting Liberal either. I vote either Conservative, or sometimes, if there's a decent independent, I vote for an independent. Michael T says, hi Andy, I'm getting a busy tone. Are you? Don't know how that's happening, Michael. Right, what number are we supposed to be using? 024687201. Right, let me just make sure that number's working. Just bear with me a minute. There is a busy tone on it. Right. Hang on now. Right, let's have a little look at Zoiper. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's me. I've not pressed the right button. Right. It should work now. Let me try it now. Just let me try it first. Yeah, it works now. So, yeah, it was me. There was a button that I hadn't pressed. But you can try it again now, Michael, if you want. Yeah, a lack of button pressing. So yeah, he's doing right. Can I pick that up? Hello, Michael. Oh, it's a bit quiet. Hang on, I've got to try and see if I can make you a bit louder. I don't know how to do that. Right, try that now, Michael. No, you're still no louder. Alright, why is that? Yeah, why is that not very loud? Right, I'll look at something else. Right, we'll try that now. See how that goes. Yes, a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear what you're saying now. I've just got to concentrate a bit on it. How's things? All right. Right, I know it feels. Yeah. Right. Right. When you do get it ticking, does it tick evenly? Does it do tick tock, or does it do tick tock, tick tock, tick tock? Right. So, and have you sort of started it manually by giving it a little shove? So, right. What I think you've probably done, I think that at the top there's a rod that the actual pendulum connects to. There's a rod that rocks, that goes from back to front of the clock through the two brass plates of it, yeah? Now, so you've tried sort of moving the method that moves the pendulum, sort of turning it round on that rod a bit, because it will sort of turn around on that rod, because yeah. Right, you want it so when it's that thing that goes round, that rod that goes through front to back. I've not got one here that I can show you, but that rod that goes through front to back, it's got the sort of the thing with two teeth on that rocks at one end of it, hasn't it? And on the other end, it's got the suspension for the pendulum. And that suspension for the pendulum, as you've found out, I think, will turn on that rod. So you can turn it and set it so that the pendulum swing all kind of goes one way and not the other way. And you want to get it in the middle, so the pendulum is swinging equally both ways from centre. I wouldn't say so there's no resistance. Yes, if you push it so you've got resistance, then it's actually hello, I've got feedback up. I can hear myself all of a sudden. If you push it so you've got resistance, what you've actually done is you've moved it on that arm that goes through the middle. You want to move it back so that you've got an equal swing in each direction with no resistance. Yeah, so it will swing that way with no resistance, and it will also swing that way with no resistance. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah. What can I say? Yeah. Yeah. What's ringing? Oh, that. How's he doing that? Oh, I know he's doing that. I'll just see if I can answer him. He might be able to shed some light. You never know. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, you can't do it. You can't pick up 2 calls at once, according to this. Oh no, he's on a different phone. Just bear with me a sec, Michael. It's a different phone ringing. Hello? Right, you can't hear him. Right, leave it with me, Christopher. I'll try and sort it out. Just a sec. Right, they're all saying Michael's saying he can't hear you. No, Christopher rather is saying he can't hear you, Michael. And I'm getting weird feedback. What have you rung me on? Hello? Yeah, Michael, what have you rung me on? You've rung me on the app, have you? Right, that might be what's causing the problem. Just say something, Michael. Yeah, it's just not coming through loud enough, and I don't know how to make it louder. Let's have a look. No, I can't make it. I can't make it louder. You have to shout down it, Michael. Why am I hearing myself back? Have you got it on speakerphone?
I've got it on hands-free.
Yeah, turn that off.
Any better?
That's better. That's miles better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's miles better. We can hear you now, I think. Right, just let me get that out my way. Right, that's better. Yeah, you sound like you're in the room now, not on the next planet. Right. What was I saying? Yeah, if that pendulum is swinging freely in the middle, each way before it gets resistance, that's fine if the clock is on a level surface. When it's running. If the clock's not on a level surface, that you need to adjust the pendulum so it doesn't run equally.
Yeah, and I'm even raising it on one side by varying height, but even that. But yeah, it is on a flat surface. It's swinging loose in the middle even. Yeah, so I think I don't think there's anything much more that I can do really. I just wondered if you had any ideas.
I don't.
The chiming mechanism is all working great.
Oh, hang on. Look. My mic's gone weird now. Just a sec. Import. Built-in audio. Right, I think. Right, why has my mic stopped working now? It's going to be one of them days today, you know.
It is, yeah.
Sound preferences, hardware, input. Right, that should be me working again now, but it's not. For some reason there's a lot of sound on this that shouldn't be. What's this sounding like to everybody else? Can anybody tell me how it's sounding now? Because I can't actually hear it, which is one of the problems with this. So Michael T's gone quiet and I've gone loud. Right.
That's because I wasn't speaking.
Dominic, I've been meaning. Yeah, I don't know why I've gone loud though. Built-in audio. Inputs.
If I
Right, that's my input, I think. There.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, Michael. Yeah, I've still got you. Yeah.
If I mind, you set the clock by moving just the hands. If by moving the hands, am I slowly winding down the spring?
No,
No?
not in a way that is.
No, I don't know how long. I don't know how long this clock was actually.
Yeah.
Working order. Maybe it just needs them to have all those gears moving.
I think it probably just needs cleaning. Is the Yeah. What you want to do is get yourself on eBay or get on a website called Cousins Clock Spares. And you want some clock cleaning fluid. Now this is fluid that cleans brass. It's got ammonia in it. It smells unbelievably bad. Don't take the top off the bottle and be tempted to have a sniff at it. Whatever you do, you will regret it. It's the worst thing you've ever smelt in your entire life. I absolutely promise you. But you can put brass in it, and it comes out magically clean and shiny. Without touching it, without scrubbing it or anything. It's absolutely magic stuff. I don't know if you watch the Repair Shop programme on TV, but when that Steve Fletcher guy says, "Oh, I'm just going to put this in the clock cleaning fluid," and it comes out shiny, it really does. It's not TV magic. It really does.
How was that applied?
Basically, you water it down, the clock cleaning fluid, normally, because it's a concentrate. So you water it down, you put it in a big tub, Because of the smell, I recommend you put it in a big tub with a sealable lid, and whatever you want cleaning, you just dunk it in it. Now, if you've taken the entire mechanism out of the clock, and that mechanism is basically all brass, it might be a few little bits of steel on it, but basically it's brass, you can just dunk the whole lot in.
So I don't need to disassemble any of the movement.
No, I mean, it will clean it better, and you can clean it better if you do disassemble it into its component parts. But unless you're feeling brave at clock restoration, disassembling a clock, there's quite a lot of bits that you have to get all in the right order to get it back together again.
I'll give that a try. What's the website now?
Cousins, Cousins, I think. I think that's the one.
Okay. Okay then, Andy. Cheers for that.
No problem at all, Michael.
I'll speak to you again.
Yeah, I hope you get it going.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Okay
Yeah.
then. Thank
Brilliant.
you, Andy.
Yeah, give it a clean in that clock cleaning fluid. Leave it in for about 24 hours. But the thing about it is, you must, the moment you take it out of the clock cleaning fluid, you must wash it thoroughly and then dry it.
Okay.
So
just with water.
Yeah. Cold fresh water. Run it under the tap. Dunk it in some fresh water a few times, and then obviously that's taken all the oil and stuff out of it. And you've just then put it in water, so you need to dry it very quickly, otherwise things like the spring might start rusting. So you need...
Do I need to specifically buy clock oil and reapply all the gears?
I never do.
But do I need to apply any kind of oil when it's...
Yeah. People with clocks say, oh, you need this clock oil. They say, oh, you've got to buy this very expensive clock oil in this tiny little vial. And it's an old nonsense, really, because 100, 200 years ago, when they made a lot of the mechanical clocks that are still around now, they didn't have all this fancy oil that we have now. They had oil. Oil was oil,
3-in-1 oil.
Mineral oil. Yeah, so exactly. So all I use on all the telephones that I do, on all the clocks that I do, and on all the sewing machines that I do, because people say sewing machine oil, I use Wilko's own brand equivalent of 3-in-1 oil. It comes in a little bottle like that. When I bought that, it had gone up a bit now, but when I bought that bottle it was 99p. It'll have gone up a bit now. I imagine it's probably about £1.50 now.
How much do you think that this cleaning fluid would be?
I think it's roughly about £15 for a bottle that is about half a litre, I think, but you do dilute it down. So I put it, I've got, these sort of clippy sandwich boxes.
Oh yeah, you like your Tupperware thing.
Yeah, these big lunch boxes that have got a seal on.
Yeah.
I put it in one of those so I could see, because like I say, the smell is unbelievably bad. I cannot. People will think I'm over-egging this, but I'm really not. The smell is like nothing you have smelt before. It's not like normal ammonia smell. It's a million times worse. It really is. This is the smell that makes skunks put a clothes peg on the nose. So you need to put it in something you can seal to keep the smell in there, because it is really, really bad, and I imagine it doesn't do you much good if you inhale it either, because I can't even begin to tell you what it smells like.
I've just seen me get one comment. It says use clock oil and also oil the main spring, does he mean the teeth around it, or because it's like in a sealed unit kind of thing?
No, the spring is probably in, when you take it out, can you see the spring on the back?
Yeah, but it has like a metal dome over it. It seems like a sealed dome.
Yeah, so it's sealed inside. I've got a spring here, hang on. So, here's a spring on a bit of a base of a clock. What you're saying is you've got a brass thing over there. Yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. It's all that is like enclosed in a dome. Smaller than that though. Yeah.
In a dome?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be in a dome, I wouldn't have thought. It's normally in the flat thing.
You cannot see the spring at all. It's in, it's within. Yeah, it's encapsulated.
That dome would take off, I think. If you removed that dome from the plate of the clock that it's attached to, from the brass plate that it's attached to,
yeah,
you would then see underneath. You would see the spring.
Right. So, but you actually put oil in that and
yes, basically, yeah. To do it properly, you uncoil the spring because that dome thing holds it all together. Yeah. That's surrounding it basically, so it's holding it in. So what you do is you uncoil it from the centre outwards very carefully, and I do it in a couple of dusters. I put dusters and that over it and do it within a duster, so that if it does go ping and all flies out, the duster kind of catches it because there's a phenomenal amount of pressure in there. You can buy spring winder things and that to sort of wind them in so you can take them out safely and that. But again, Cousin's website will have all these things on.
I just noticed me get one other comment. It says in a cover but we'll get in. There are tiny little openings in the dome, so maybe taking it completely apart isn't necessary.
No, perhaps not. To do it properly, you take everything. To do the job properly, you take everything apart. If you were taking it to a clock restorer, a professional clock restorer, he would take every component of that clock apart and clean each bit individually, examine each bit individually, and put it all back together. What you can get away with is, like I say, dunking the whole thing in clock cleaning fluid, then oiling the bits that are necessary afterwards. So oil the spring, because if you think about the spring when it's wound up like that, when you wind more tension onto that spring or let it off, each kind of coil of that spring is rubbing against the next one. Do you see what I mean? And if it's rubbing against the next one and it's completely bone dry and a bit rusty, it might be rusty enough that it can't undo, or it can't do. Was this clock wound up when you got it?
No.
So the spring has moved. You have wound it up while you've.
Yeah, when I got it, I wound it up.
Right. So that's not so bad then. I was going to say if it was wound up when you got it, then there's a chance it's just all rusted together, the spring. But yeah, give it a clean and then get some oil into it as you can. All you need is a good quality, very lightweight mineral oil.
I'm going to do a search right now for this boxing fluid. I never knew such a thing existed.
Yeah, what the problem that I've found with clock oil, particularly clock oil that's been bought on eBay, is A, it's very expensive, and B, it's sticky. And I don't think it should be sticky. I think it should be slick and slippery.
And I can apply that, I suppose, with a cocktail stick on the tiny inner gears that are to reach.
Yeah, but if it's you can do that anyway, because it holds together the tiny amounts that you're applying. Even if it's very thin oil, even if it's water, it holds together in a droplet that you can put into something. But the stuff that you buy is clock oil. A friend of mine bought some time ago, and it was horrible stuff. It was sticky. I don't think it lubricated anything, and I also think dust and stuff would stick to it and make it worse. So
about grease, I've heard about clock grease. Would I need any of that?
That's one I've not heard of. I've not heard of people putting grease in a clock. Maybe people put grease in the mechanism of a massive clock, like a thing in a church or something like that. But I wouldn't have thought you would have put grease in something like a mantle clock or a grandfather clock or anything. I would have thought that would generally just be oil in most places in it. But like I say, just a very light mineral oil is what you want.
Okay then, Andy. Cheers for that.
No worries, Michael. Nice to talk to you.
You too. Bye.
All right. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Michael T there with his clock. I hope he gets it going. Right. How do I sound now, folks? Do I still sound the way I sounded when we started this show today, or is it somehow different? Because the reason I ask this question is I'm not sure that we've got the right microphones and things working. Yeah, I'm not sure we've got the right mics on. There's noise on it. Very muffled, he says. You sound very muffled. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to try this mic. Right. Is that any better? No? Don't know what's going on with this today. Right, what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to disappear for a second and come back and see if I can sort this microphone problem out. No, I'm not. I can't do it that way. Right, what is happening here now? Right, bear with me. I'm just trying to sort this out. Hopefully it will sort out in a minute, but I am muffled, as you say. I'm trying to figure out why. Just trying to figure out why it's muffled. Yeah, right. Is that any better? No, no, still muffled. Still muffled. And I think we're still muffled. Are we still muffled? Still muffled. Still. No, maybe not now. Oh, is that better? Is that any better? Tell me if that sounds better, guys. Tell me what you think of that. "30 minutes of pure distortion." Well, why didn't you say so? Right, I'm going to go away and come back. I'm going to stop it all, shut it all down, and come back again, and we'll see where we get to. That better? It should be better. It should be better. I can hear myself now as well. I've turned the monitor on. So what does everybody think? Does that indeed sound better? Right, I need to have a little look now. And see if I can find this. Copy. Okay. Paste that into there. And I should now be able to see what you're going. Oh, Gambo says that sounds better. Right, yeah, we've fixed it then, Gambo. Yeah, that's way better now. Yeah, and I can hear myself as well now, which is really weird when you're not used to it, but I am kind of used to it. But the problem is, when you do it in a radio studio, your voice is perfectly in time with your own voice. But on here, because it's internet based, there's a bit of a delay. So I'm hearing myself back with about like 1/10 of a second delay, and it's really odd. So I'm going to turn the monitor bit off so I can't hear myself anymore, because it just sounds really weird. But yeah, that's better. We've got it a bit more sorted. Yeah, it was basically, I turned it off and on again, and it sorted it, as these things so often do. Right, we are here. As I say, the phone lines are open if anybody wants to give us a call. 024687201, but it has to be a CNET call. Remember, you have to be connected to the collector's telephone network. You have to be on CNET to do it. I'm just logging back in onto the audio, so you should be able to do it now if you want to call that number on CNET. 024687201. Right, yeah, I will try and catch up with a bit of the chat. Oh, here's Christopher. Right, let's see if I can actually answer it without cutting him off. Hello, Christopher.
Hi, Andy.
Hiya. Oh, that sounds better.
Can everyone hear me on the live stream, by the way?
They should be able to, but if anybody can comment, can you hear Christopher? Well, I think they oh no, they can't, not yet. No, they can't. Right, they should be able to. Right, that's weird. Right. Right, there's something weird going on with the desktop audio. Just bear with me a sec. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, Christopher, because you're coming through on the desktop. The desktop audio is put in. Oh dear. Oh dear. That Crikey. So you got water? You actually got water coming in, have you, at the minute? Oh dear. Oh dear. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like you should be evacuated or something. Oh. It still doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's tripped my electricity to go off as well. One of the breakers on my house went out, so I had to wait till the water gets done so I can reset the half my power in my flat.
Oh, right.
Luckily enough, it's not knocked out the one from my internet motor on my thing at ATA, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Right. I'm hearing myself on your coming through on your end of this, Christopher, and I don't know. No, I think it's something at my end. Yes, I can. I think. Yeah, right. I need to find out what that is. Bear with me a minute. This is not going well tonight. This is not going well at all tonight. We'll figure it out in a sec. Advanced audio properties. Sound preferences. Hardware. Output. Stereo. Input. I don't quite know what's going on here, but it was working brilliantly earlier as well. Hang on, Christopher. Right. I don't know why that's coming through there. Right. It will not do what I want it to do. Properties. Default. Okay. Properties. Defaults. Right. All right. I think I've cracked it, Christopher. Try again.
Yep, it works this time.
It's better, I think.
Yeah, I can hear it on my end, Andy.
You can hear me okay? Can you coming through the computer?
Yes.
Right, and does it sound all right? You're not coming through as well, are you?
I'm just coming up the bottom, I don't get the back through the front. Yeah, it's coming through on my side.
So it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Brilliant. We've sorted it out then. I think I think we've cracked it.
Yeah, one good thing where this sprinkler activate was in the unit 8, was in the flat 81, and for about 3 years now I've had this person that's flat banging well over 3 years in this block. At least the fire sprinkler got him back this time round.
Yeah. So what do you think he's done? Do you think he's just sort of hit the sprinkler button or something?
Yeah, so you knock the sprinkler. They've got in this flat there's sprinkler heads on the walls. If you knock them off the heads, or you have a fire in the flat, triggers the sprinklers to activate to put the fire out.
I see. So it's a fire system error. It's not actually a fire. So we don't.
Yeah, he just knocked the head off the thing which triggered the water to sprinkle out the system.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
If there was a fire in this apartment block, the fire would not spread because the apartment's made of solid rebar concrete, because all the walls are made of that. The fire would be attained in one unit, would not spread to the other apartments.
Yeah, they must build flats better in Australia than they do in Britain.
Yeah, they removed all the cladding a few months ago from this tower block as well, recently from the tower block.
Oh, right, so the word has spread to Australia about what happened here at Grenfell then, and when all the cladding combust.
Yeah, they removed it all from the tower block.
Right, I didn't realise it had sort of gone around the world, the repercussions of that. But yeah, that was not good, because the way that tower block caught fire was unbelievable. I remember seeing it on the news, and you wouldn't think a tower block that is basically concrete and steel, isn't it? You would expect. You wouldn't think it would combust the way that did, but it really went up.
Yeah, the only downside with this sprinkler thing, I can see all the water trickling down my wall from inside the fender, so it's gone behind my pallet, which shorted out the line breaker on my power units.
Oh, right.
Like it's not the company fuse or the main fuse on the panel. At least one of them, they didn't trigger those ones to go away. The one for that particular district on the power.
Yeah. So what happens now? Does somebody do you have like a building maintenance guy or something that has to come and turn it all off, or?
The firemen responded about 10 minutes ago to turn the water off. They came out and turned off the stopcock, turns off all the water.
Yeah.
Not the water main stopcock, just separated stopcocks for the fire sprinkler system.
Right. So you've still got like drinking water and stuff,
yes.
But they just turn the sprinkler system off until they can repair it.
Well, I've not checked my water taps for a couple of minutes since the alarm. I'm not going to check them yet, see if there's any water coming through.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you've still got water.
Yeah, my mum just checked that for me. There is water coming through our taps.
But it's not. What time is it there, Christopher? It must be silly o'clock.
It's about 4:49 a.m.
Right. So it's if you hadn't been up already doing this, this would have woke you up. It's probably woken up everybody else in your building.
No, I've been up since 3 a.m. in the morning when your stream started around that time.
Ah.
I get up mainly at 3 o'clock, and I stay up at 3, wait till your stream starts at 3:30.
When did it all happen then? When did it kick off?
The fire alarm.
Yeah.
It started about an hour after you started your stream.
Right. It wasn't me what started it then.
Yeah, Yeah, the fire alarms are so common in this building. Like, we've had over 50 false alarms from the fire alarm control panel in this tower block. It's really a nuisance, the fire panel in this block.
Yeah. It doesn't sound very good though. That, I mean, water coming through and stuff. And
Yeah.
How many are there above you and below you?
The fire's 7 flats above me at the moment. Where the fire sprinkler activated.
It's 7 above you.
Yeah.
So it's gone down 6 other flats to get into yours.
Yes, it happened on the 8th floor, and I'm on the 1st floor. So it's gone through 7 ceilings and 6 floors as well.
Crikey! So it's caused some devastation in that building then.
Yeah, but when the water stops, the water will dry up and it'll go back to looking normal again.
Yeah, hopefully.
And and I've got to wait till the water stops trickling down the wall if I can reset the line breaker as well.
Yeah, it'll have caused some damage though, I bet, if it's got into anybody's electronics or anything, got into the TVs and radios and computers and stuff. And
yeah, lucky where my TV is. It's not in the room where the water's leaking. My TV's actually in my bedroom where I got it at the moment, not in the living room.
Yeah. Lucky that you've managed to hang in there tonight.
Because I asked the fireman earlier when the alarm went off, I asked him, is it safe to stay in my mine? He said, it's all right to stay in yours because the sprinkler's not going off on your level.
Yeah. Never had such drama going on this stream before.
Yeah, the Wesley's asking something about my air raid siren as well. I just noticed on the chat as well.
Oh yeah. What's he saying? I didn't realise you were in a tower block, Christopher. That makes your use of the air raid siren even more Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah. Yeah. No, you were outside when you did the air raid siren, weren't you? You weren't in a flat, were you, when you did it?
Yes, I was. After I had my siren out the window of my apartment. I winded it up.
Right.
What happened though after I sounded this? All the police and firemen ran out running where this alarm was coming from.
Sorry, shouldn't laugh, but it's funny.
I'm probably going to do the siren again soon. Probably not next New Year's. I'll probably do it next New Year's Day. I'll do my siren again.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping the bearings are not seized up in the sun. I've not tested it in a while since I did it on New Year's Day.
Yeah. I remember you doing it on New Year's Day. Yeah, it was quite good that.
You also saw my video when I did it at my old house as well in Belpost Hill, when I set off in the show with finally did their siren.
Yeah, I often wonder where all the air raid sirens and that went.
Yeah.
Because there must have been hundreds of thousands of them, of different sort of sizes and shapes and that, and you very, very, very rarely see one. I can think of where there's 2.
Yeah.
One of those is still in situ and one's in a museum. And they're the only 2 I can think that I've ever seen, really. I know where there's maybe bits of another one left, where it was on top of a building in Sheffield, and I think that was an air raid siren, and there's just sort of a frame of it left. But you'd think you'd find more than you do. But they're very, very, very rare. You just don't see them around at all. And
it's
you think
not rare to find them around the outer suburbs of Melbourne, because in the outer suburbs, on top of the fire station, we have air raids on top of our fire station. For when there's a bushfire, they run up the siren to tell people to get out of the town straight away before the bushfire gets into the city. Yeah,
so there's still got a use for them there.
Yes.
Yeah, my friend lives in Alabama in America, and they use them there for tornadoes.
Yes.
Because she's in Tornado Alley, basically.
Yeah, we get tornadoes in this part of the world as well.
Do ya?
Yes, we had one. Was it in New South Wales the last time we had one?
I'm learning something I didn't know here. I didn't know Australia got tornadoes. Let's hope one's not coming tonight. Has he gone? I think he's gone. I think we've lost him. I think we've lost him at the minute. Hey there, Christopher. Oh no, here he is. Hello. I don't know what happened there. We lost you for a minute.
Yeah, my wretched ATA conked out. I don't understand why it turned itself off again.
It's not full of water, is it?
No, it's on the line half. It keeps cutting out. I'm not sure why.
It's an interesting thing that, because this thing with this ATA cutting out that you've had for a while, haven't you? We initially thought it cut out after about 15 minutes.
Yes.
It does only seem to be you it happens to.
Yes.
So I wonder if it is your ATA.
Yeah, it doesn't unregister itself and then rebooting it. It just cuts the line off, and then when I dial the number again, it goes straight back through again.
I can't figure out why it does that.
Yeah.
What sort of ATA is it? Is it one of these PAP 2Ts?
No, it's a Grand Stream ATR used for my pulse dialing telephones.
Right, okie dokie. Yeah, I have used the Grand Stream one in the past. Is it a 700 series or a 800 or a 500 series?
Hang on, what was it? I think it's an 802 series.
802. So that's a relatively new one then.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the one that I used was a 502.
Yes.
And I think there's been a 602 and a 702 in between as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't help you with that one. I don't know the ins and outs of that one.
Yeah.
But it's a strange fault because well, you heard Michael earlier. It didn't happen to Michael, and he was on for quite a while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an oddball one that I don't quite know what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's a strange one. Perhaps it is the ATA. It might be worthwhile noting, the settings that you change in the ATA to connect it to CNET. It might be worthwhile just noting all those down.
Yes.
Then just do a factory reset on the ATA.
Yes.
And reset it all up again.
Yeah, I did that the other week. After we spoke on the phone the other week, I turned it off and rebooted it and factory reset and put all the codes back in again.
Yeah. Did it make any difference for a while?
No, it stayed the same as it was.
Right. I wonder what it's doing. I wonder why it...
photo I sent where it showed my trim phone with my Civil Defence Geiger counter.
Is that a while ago? That's a while ago, isn't it?
I sent it about 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, I've not. In that case, no. I think you sent one a long time ago of a phone with a Geiger counter, but if you sent it a couple of weeks ago, no, not that I remember. Send it again.
I have got it on GPO Pro Board's website as well. Put the pictures up on that as well.
Oh, right, cool. It's up on there, is it?
Yes.
Right. We will send people to have a look at it at the forum site then. Anybody who doesn't know where the forum is, it's here. gpotelephones.proboards.com. That is the website for the forum on there, where you can find Christopher's phone and his air raid siren. Yeah, well, it's been
about tornadoes in this part where I am in the world. They don't happen all the time. They're very rare to have happen in Australia, having tornadoes.
Yeah.
If we do have one, it's normally an EF1 or an EF2. It doesn't get any bigger than that normally in this country.
Right. I didn't know you had them at all. I had no idea that they had tornadoes in Australia. I've learnt something new today.
Yeah, they're rare in this country. They are in this part of the world. They don't come all the time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're not rare in Alabama. They happen with surprising regularity in Alabama. And the weird thing about it is nobody in Alabama is bothered
Yes.
by it. They have tornado warnings, and they sort of look for the tornado, and if the tornado's getting a bit close, they sort of like go down into the basements and things and get out of the way of it.
Yes.
But it's the attitude of people who lose everything that just stuns me, because where the tornado tracks across,
Yes.
it will like, because Americans like building the houses out of wood for some reason that I've never quite been able to fathom. When a tornado hits a house in America, it completely flattens it. Absolutely, totally flattens the house. It's just like a concrete pad left.
Yeah.
And the people who have had their house flattened, who you would think would be sat crying and screaming,
Yeah.
are actually there picking through the rubble, just picking stuff up and picking bits of wood up and that and piling it up and just starting again. And in such a matter of fact sort of way. And they go sort of, oh well, this has happened, it's a bit of bad luck, but yeah, it happens, we live here. And I think to myself, I wonder how many times their house has actually been destroyed by a tornado to be that blasé about it and that chilled out about it. Because they really do not make a drama out of it at all. It's amazing how the people deal with it that live there. Because I did say, what happens if you see a tornado coming your way? You said, well, you get out of the way of it. You know, they don't. If you see it coming in the distance, you've generally got time to get out of the way.
Yeah,
but
get in a bunk, in a shelter, or just drive away from the town where the tornado is.
Yeah. Well, they tend to have basements in the houses.
Yes.
The houses tend to be. They tend to have like a concrete box underneath that is the basement, and then they build a wooden house on top. So the concrete box is relatively safe, I think. But the problem is you get trapped in it because the house falls down on top of it, and somebody has to come and move all the debris before you can get out. But you are relatively safe in your basement, and I think they do have like communal shelters as well. That you can go into, but they're geared up for it because it happens so frequently that everybody knows what to do. You know, they do tornado drills in schools and stuff. You know, where they practice and they hear the siren and all the kids get down under the school desk and put their head between the knees and all that sort of stuff. But it boggles the mind for anybody that doesn't come from there. It must seem really scary, but the people there don't seem bothered by it one iota. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So but luckily we don't get them in the UK.
Yeah, and they happen very rarely in this country.
But now, I think it's to do with moist air and dry air and hot air and cold air, isn't it? And
I've not seen it in person, but I saw it on the news a couple of years ago. I didn't see it in person, though.
Yeah. I've seen tiny little ones.
Yes.
You know, just like leaves whirling round and you know, literally a tiny one, not as tall as a person, just sort of stirring leaves up. We get those occasionally, but we don't get anything like, not anything that'll do any damage, sort of thing.
The one we had a few years ago did some damage to the caravan places around New South Wales. We had the twist to go through.
Yeah, I imagine caravans don't fare well. Because they're not very heavy, are they? That's the problem with a caravan. I imagine it just picks them up and takes them away.
Yeah.
But luckily we don't get tornadoes.
Yeah.
One of the things that we can be grateful for in this, there's not much to be grateful for in Britain, but the lack of tornadoes is one of them.
Yes.
So I'm glad we don't get those.
Yes.
Lightning's bad enough. It's thunder and lightning is the one that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because that hurts when it hits you. So, But yeah. Right. So have we got any more telephones in the collection then, Christopher? Just this
Just
week?
the N19D244 in grey and that AEP phone.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Where
Yep.
someone actually knackered the dial completely. You know how they normally put the wrong screw into the dial?
Yep.
They completely knackered the dial. After you couldn't even, the screw would not hold the dial in place. Like the hole was so knackered, you couldn't keep a screw in it to get the dial in place.
Right, and the screw sort of made a bigger hole in the middle of the dial, so it sort of went right through.
Yeah, it went right through, so I had to replace it with one of my spare finger wheels I'd lying about.
Yeah, it's... do you have... was it the problem of a countersunk screw in a dial that had made for a flat back screw? Was it that problem?
Yes.
Yeah, happens all the time. I've got one on the desk here that's got that problem. This one had that problem. Luckily, it's not that bad on this one, but it has. If I take the thing out, you'll see it in a few seconds. Cause I know you're a few seconds behind me.
Yeah, I can see you taking out the dial label right now on the phone.
All right, there's not much delay on it then today. But I mean, you can see there it's cracked it, but it's not gone into the bit you can see. So I've kind of got away with that.
Yeah, it's like my phone, you've got there, but mine has the alphanumeric dial bezel on my one.
Yeah, I don't know if this one should or not, because this is actually a 1968 746. This one.
Yes.
So it's definitely well in the time when they were still doing alphanumerics.
Yes.
But I think by the time the 746 came along, I think some of the phones had alphanumeric bezels on and some didn't from the factory. I think it was basically half and half from the factory.
Yeah, the 68 phones normally have a letter L if they're lettered on the 68 phones. I've got one here with a black one that's got a L for lettered on the 68 phone of mine.
Yeah, well, I've wondered about that. I wondered if just the lettered ones had the L suffix, or if they used the L and the F, but only certain companies bothered putting them on.
Yeah, I know they used the L in 1969, so I've got a phone with that stamp on it.
Yeah.
And that one I'm actually still restoring that one because I'm still going to get a line code for it to put it back to original condition.
Have you seen any with an F though?
No.
No, neither have I. So I don't think by the time they got to 746s, I think a 746F was just marked as a 746, and the 746L was marked as a 746L.
Yes.
And this one is, I believe, just marked as a 746.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's also marked. Seems to be marked upside down, kind of, but there. 746 PXA 68 1.
Yes.
So it's an early one.
Yeah.
Or early-ish.
Yeah, I've got a junction box coming soon for me and for my Ericsson. I'm going to put it back on the original line cord as well to restore it back to original condition.
Oh yeah.
Except for that bodge someone did with the Australian plug on the end of the cable.
Yes. Yeah.
But it looks like it was done officially though, not by somebody bodge. It looks like it was done by Telecom Australia. Looks like when it was connected to the phone.
Would that phone have been used in Australia though?
No idea. I know they use GEC 71174 ones in the railways. I got proof of that. I've seen proof of that, but I don't know about N1900s.
Yeah. I suppose it could have been a private company somewhere, couldn't it? It could have been like in an office or something. Ericsson would sell it to a company that wanted a telephone system, and I think he sold them pretty much around the world.
Yeah.
So
well, talking about that, I've actually got that what had the Pi label on the bottom of the base. what's it, Melbourne, Australia, and it was an Ericsson phone.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure that might have been used as a railway phone, that one.
Yeah, it could have been used on the railways. It could have been used in any business that needed telephones. Could have been a factory, an office block, like say railways, absolutely anything. It's impossible to know where they come from, really, unless you do know where they came from. Unless you know the person who took them out and said, "Yeah, I took this phone out of such and such an industrial building, and it's been in my shed for the last 20 years." Which is exactly what happened with the telephone rentals phones that I fetched from London a couple of months ago. The guy worked for telephone rentals, and he'd taken these phones out. I think there were about 8 or 10 of them, and he'd actually physically taken them out from places when he'd been replacing systems, and he'd just kept them in his shed, and they were all telephone rentals. I think they're all Ericssons. I think they're all N1900s of one sort or another. So one is the... He'd disappeared again. You'd disappeared again.
Yeah, the line cut out again. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it keeps doing it. It's oddball, that is. It's really strange. Perhaps you ought to try installing the Zoiper app onto a as a soft phone, either onto a phone or onto a tablet or a computer or something, and try that.
Yeah.
See if it, because then you've not got to go through the ATA, have you? Then.
Yeah.
If you're going through Zoiper, and
to find all my CNET details on my laptop.
Yeah. So, so hang on. Didn't you say? No, are you actually on a phone now then, or a laptop?
I've got the my laptop for the stream. I'm talking on my Ericsson phone.
Right. So the call is going through the ATA.
Yes.
Right. So if you did a call through, that's what I'm saying. If you did a call through your laptop or through a smartphone or something, it wouldn't be going through the ATA.
Yeah.
It'd be going straight through the internet.
Yes.
And that would tell us then, if that stayed up, if the problem is with the ATA. If that cuts out as well, it says the problem's not with the ATA. The problem is with possibly something at this end, possibly something to do with the server at this end. Because it's mightily complicated. But having said that, everybody's is set up the same. You know, Michael's got a couple of numbers off it. There are one or two other people who've got numbers off it. And it's all just a kind of cut and paste thing. There's a little block of code that you copy and just change basically the phone numbers in for each subscriber, if you like. So I can't imagine it's that. But that would be an interesting experiment to do at some point, just so we know once and for all. I'm suspecting that ATA though, because it's not one I'm familiar with, and it's not one that, as far as I know, anybody else has got that one. So it's a bit of an oddball one, that. Right, I guess we'd probably better think about wrapping it up for today. Time's getting on a bit here.
Yes, it's 5:14 now in Australia.
Yeah, is that Sunday morning?
Yeah, Monday morning.
Monday morning. You're ahead, not
Yes.
You're ahead rather than behind.
Yes.
So you get Monday before we do.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I could delay it a bit more, personally.
Yeah. Yes.
Not keen on Monday mornings.
Yes.
Although today, Sunday nights aren't going so great today.
Yes.
Well, I had more than a few technical issues with this tonight.
Yes.
Right. I better zip off anyway. Nice to talk to you again, Christopher.
Yes.
And we will catch up with you again soon.
Yes.
Alright, cheers mate. Bye for
Bye,
now.
Andy.
Bye. That was Christopher there in Australia, using his CNET phone, using his old vintage telephone on CNET as well, not connecting through a computer, actually connecting using a vintage phone, which is actually really what CNET was built for originally. If you don't know anything about CNET and you want to know more, I can give you a website to go to. If you've got a pen and paper, it's www.ckts.info. That's www.ckts.info, and that tells you all about CNET. Right, I think that is more or less as far as we go for today. I'll just have a quick look what people are up to in the chat. The Underpants of Doom has joined us. He says, sorry I'm late folks. Been fighting wasps all day. I know the feeling. They've not come out yet here, the wasps. There are a lot of bees about though. I went to Plesley Vale the other day and there's a swarm of bees high up on the side of the building at Plesley Vale. It's been there about a week at least that I know of, but they're not bothering anybody. They're just all swarming around. I guess it's a bit of a, because it's an old stone building, they're just sort of going into the masonry somewhere. Gambo says he hasn't received his refund for a phone he won, but it went missing. But if it magically turns up, it will be posted free of charge. I wait with bated breath, he says. Right, Gambo sent me a message in the week about this phone, and this is worth telling you about, so you don't get scammed with this. An eBay seller listed a phone at 99p. Starting bid. Gambo put a bid on. So he put his opening bid on, it starts at 99p. There were no other bids, so Gambo won the phone. He paid for the phone, all well and good. Then the seller gets in touch with him and says, I'm terribly sorry, we've got the builders in, and they appear to have moved it and put it somewhere, and now we can't find it. It's basically the eBay equivalent of sorry teacher, the dog ate my homework. Now, what I suspect happened was, in a misguided attempt to try and avoid eBay fees, somebody decided to list a phone at 99p, and then when they didn't get the money they thought they'd get for it, they've decided they don't want to sell it after all, and they're making an excuse. Now, I did say to Gambo, tell me who they are, and I will personally name them and shame them on this live stream. He's not done that, being the gentleman that he is. But this happens a lot on eBay. The problem is, if you get a refund, you cannot leave bad feedback. So even if you've had a bad experience, if eBay have to intervene and give you a refund, or even if the seller gives you a refund, you cannot leave feedback to say you've had a bad experience. Now, I think that's wrong. Even if you've had a refund, I think you should be able to say, look, I put this bid on, it was an entire waste of time, it took me ages to get my money back, the seller is a charlatan. You should be able to do that, but unfortunately you can't. So beware. If you have a problem with a seller on eBay, before you flag the problem, leave bad feedback first for them. You know how they say, oh, get in touch, don't leave feedback, get in touch. That is purely so they can give you your money back, and then you cannot leave bad feedback. Even though you've had a bad experience, you cannot leave feedback. So before you get in touch with them, the thing to do is leave the bad feedback first, then get in touch with them. That way you can leave bad feedback. That is not what eBay tells you to do, but that is the only way we will get rid of these bad sellers on eBay. eBay don't want you to report a bad seller early, because they want it to look like everybody's brilliant on eBay, and they're not. Lots of people are, don't get me wrong. I've bought thousands of things off eBay over the years, and 99% of the people I've bought stuff of have been really, really nice people, and I've got to go to some places and met some people who have been fantastic, and I've been to some places that I would never have gone had I not gone to pick up an eBay win. I mean, yeah, been to some fantastic locations. But there is that minority, that 1%, and when you use eBay quite a lot, you will come into contact with them, like Gambo has, who are shysters. So if you have a problem, first thing to do is leave that bad feedback and note to the rest of the world that there's been a problem. Do that first, then do whatever contacting you need to do. Right, what else is happening in the chat? Wesley says there was what was referred to as a mini tornado in his hometown in 1962. He says it was before his time, though. You know something? I think I remember something being on TV about that, a mini tornado in the UK. I think I do remember seeing some old news footage of that. The Underpants of Doom says, I remember the hurricane in 1987. I was in a first floor flat, and the caravan went past our living room window. Crikey. He also says the upstairs neighbour's car, a Vauxhall Nova, was blown down the street. Blimey. The Underpants of Doom says yes, the 746F phones do have F on them. F for figure. I've just sold a 1975 one, and it definitely had F on it. I've had a few. Right, so they do have F and L's on phones. So it must only be certain companies that put the suffix on then, because as I say, this one from 1968 hasn't got anything on it, just 746. So we don't know if this is an F or an L. It's just a 746. And he says even many 746L telephones didn't say L on them. It just depends on the manufacturer, which is what I've just said, isn't it? It says they were still putting Fs on the 746s in the 70s. I've no idea why, but they definitely do exist. Right, so that's cleared that one up. And the Underpants About Doom also says what you can is just put like a no entry sign on your feedback and leave a negative comment anyway. Can you? Right. I didn't know you could do that. Christopher says, I'll send a photo, show the water leak in my flat. Yeah, send it through, Christopher, and we'll try and get it on next week. But that is about it for this week. Thanks to everybody for taking part once again, and particular thanks to our callers for ringing in as well. Yeah, it's been an interesting one today. It started off a bit political, a bit edgy. Like I say, I make no apologies for saying what I think. I think the world would be a better place if people actually stood up and said what they think, rather than lying and making out they're something they're not, which is basically what all politicians do, which is why I'm in favour of having one lot of politicians, not four lots. Yes, let's get rid of one. Let's get rid of 3 out of 4 politicians. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Wouldn't that make for a better world? It's almost as good as getting rid of 3 out of 4 lawyers, but that's another story. Right, that is about it for today. As I say, thanks everybody for taking part in it all once again. Remember, if you like what we do here, we do have a website you can go and have a look at. It's due for a makeover, but it is there nonetheless. andyshed.coldpress.net is the website. And you can also join us on Patreon. It's here, patreon.com/AndyShed, where you get a bit of extra content every now and again, all for the princely sum of what equates to basically £1 a month. That is Patreon. And also, as we said earlier, we do have a telephones forum that you can chat away on when we're not on air. It's gpotelephones.proboards.com. That is the forum. We will be back next week, as I say, for the final show in this series. It's the last one next week before we take a little break for a few weeks in the summer. But don't worry, we will be back around about end of July, beginning of August time. So yeah, final one for now next week. But from me, have a fantastic week ahead. And I've just seen the chat flash up. Yeah, we'll hopefully see Penfold too. I'm sure we'll have got over it by then. Crikey. If he's that touchy, really, blimey. Well, what can you say? But yeah, we will be back. Same time, around about. I was actually on time today. It's unusual for me to be on time, but I was more or less on time today. Make a note, because it doesn't often happen. We will see you around about the same time, same place next week for the last one in this series. Hopefully with Penfold and maybe even Danger Mouse as well. From us for now, we'll see you soon. Bye everybody.